It's an awesome day, and it's always great to be on the path to acquire knowledge, information, wisdom, and be able to apply these things in our lives. And today I'm giving you names. You are a tribe of gladiators, trailblazers, world changers, and transformers. Those that are willing to not only just transform the world, because it's impossible without transforming yourself, but transforming yourself and before you even transform the world. And that is why we are here. So take this like a mini course. Every time we come to meet here, we are sharing about life and we are learning, and I want to be as vivid as I can be, and I want to be as honest as you can be. When you give me the feedback, and then we get to chat and we get to talk. I have questions written down, that some of which I want to be able to respond to today according to what I'm going to talk about. So I need you to be able to interact. I need you to be able to get in touch with me. I need to be able to hear from you. I am not speaking alone. I know I am here, and I have a tribe of people out there who are saying, I am following your message, I am part of your mission, and I want to be transformed so I can transform the world. And now that is my commitment to you, that we move this journey hand in hand, and I want to be your coach on the side, not in front of you, not the big person, no, just by your side, holding your hand step by step. You grow as I grow. I hold your hand as you hold my hand. That is how it happens. So I'm Bahati, and welcome. So today I felt the need to talk on the subject, creating relationships that do not hurt us or that do not wound us. Because so many of us, I feel there's a cloud of tired people around because of the relationships, not just intimate relationships, but even the normal work kind of relationships, colleague kind of relationships, the people that you work with, wherever you work from. I feel like there's a lot of us out there that are so exhausted from dealing with people. Number one, we don't know how to deal with people. Some of us are introverts. Some of us have grown up in places where we were not that exposed, that even when we were exposed, we used to keep to ourselves. So now we are in the marketplace right now, and survival for the fittest. People are running so fast. Some of us are crawling. Some of us don't even know what we are doing, but we are in the workplace. We are going and we are working with people, and we are dealing with people every day. But dealing with them is making us so tired, because again, we are creating relationships that are wounding us. And now we are asking ourselves, how do we create better relationships without necessarily wounding ourselves, hurting ourselves, and having to thrive and be joyful in these relationships? Because a relationship is supposed to add value to your life. A relationship is supposed to bring happiness into your life. A relationship is supposed to be like a checking guide for you. A relationship is supposed to be a give and take. It's supposed to be reciprocated, okay? And so many of us are not feeling that way. And so today I just want to just talk about two things. One of them is discernment, and the other are boundaries. I know that we've heard so much about these things, but I would start, let me start by reading some of these questions. I think one of them was like, greeting Coach Bahati. I am so glad I am part of this mission. And the question, how can I know when to be selfless and when to be selfish? Because for so long and so many years, I've tried being selfless, but when I got to a point where I needed help from other people, none of the people actually helped to even care, or even including friends and family. When I decided to become selfish, I still had no help from anyone. So I'm confused. I need help. How can I balance life? Okay, so you see, she's confused. She's the kind who will say, I'm tired of people. People are not helping. Whether I am selfless, whether I am a people pleaser, whether I give so much of myself, I'll still remain empty. And when I decide to keep everything to myself, I'll still remain empty. Okay, and this one was like, I am a very straightforward person, and I have realized people don't like it so they perceive it like I am proud and full of myself. I always keep in my lane. I avoid issues with people. So most times I end up staying alone. How can I handle my fears? Because sometimes I feel and I get thinking that maybe I have a problem relating with other people. How can I pass on my concerns to other people without necessarily hurting myself? So you realize that these are people out there who are dealing with other people, and they're only confused because what they thought people wanted straightforward people. And all of a sudden, they feel like whenever I'm straightforward, I'm rubbing people the wrong way. And I know that we have met people who are like that. And the other one feels, I thought being selfless is the way to go. I am being selfless, giving of myself, and yet I am being hurt because then no one comes to my rescue whenever I need help. And then when I decide to be selfish, still no one comes to my help. Not my friends, not my family, not anyone around me. So you realize that we are creating these relationships, and I know that some of us even have worse stories of backstabbing, betrayal kind of stories when it comes to dealing with people in our lives. And so sometimes we refrain, we walk back into ourselves, and then we realize we cannot function like that for the longest time, and then we venture back into those relationships. Now, when we talk about discernment and boundaries, because I want to be able to vividly answer these, respond to these questions, but again, I want to be able to expound it because I know so many of us are going through so many different issues regarding the same thing. When you talk about discernment, discernment is not judging, and discernment is not necessarily saying that I'm just going to judge you and pass the verdict, and then I'm going to trash you in a trash can. I don't want to deal with people. No, even when judgment, because some of us have a way of going through some of these things. I want us to just get a proper definition. Here it says judgment is, okay, being able to properly, to properly tell the difference, okay? To properly tell the difference, let me see. How to judge well. Now, judging well, I am using the same word. I'm explaining discernment. Being able to judge well, being able to tell character, being able to tell the ability of different people, and being able to categorize them, or being able to know when to deal with someone and when not to deal with someone. That is being a well judge of character, or judging well. Now, it's not the judge of I have judged you and you're done and I don't want to deal with you. No, it is I have a better judgment of your character that I can be able to deal with you. Because again, when you discern, then you create the boundaries. Now, the boundaries are not supposed to protect you from relationships. They are supposed to protect you for better relationships. They are supposed to help you relate better, okay? They're not supposed to protect you from love, because then that means they're locking love out. They are actually supposed to protect you for love. I don't know whether you understand me, that you need the boundaries, not to create a huge wall in your life and say, I don't need human beings. Or not to say that I don't want to deal with anyone at my workplace, or I don't want to deal with my spouse, because some of you are dealing with spouses and partners. No, it is supposed to protect you for love, not from love. Okay, so that you can be able to create a better love, a joyous relationship, a joyous family, a joyous work relationship, a joyous colleague relationship. It is supposed to help you create a better relationship. Okay, so when we talk about boundaries, so many of us know boundaries, but before I even go into the types of boundaries that we must have in our lives, I want to be able to go through the selfish person that says that when I was selfish, I did not get help from, when I was selfless, I did not get help from people. But again, when I became selfish, again, I actually stopped getting help from people. Now, that is when you have the discernment to know that, by the way, I should be able to read into people's lives and character and know who are the kind of people I need in my life? Who are the kind of people that should come into my chambers? You have the outer chambers, you have the inner chambers. You don't weaponize everyone in the world by telling them or by opening up your life to them, but knowing who to open your life for, because there is no relationship you are going to create without without being vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable in relationships. But so many of us, because of the so many things that we are facing, and even the worst things that you are facing out there, we have decided to lock up our lives and just not be vulnerable. And then we go on regretting and saying relationships are so hard and they're so difficult. Why? Because God knew you could never relate without being vulnerable. The reason as to why people backstab us is because we were once vulnerable with them. We were once open with them. We told them parts of us that maybe we had never shared with anyone. And now they used the same information against us. They got to know our weakness, that we are in love with them. They got to know our weakness, that we care about them. They got to know our weakness, that we are selfless, that we give of ourselves. They got to know our weakness, that we are givers, that we are generous, that we are godly, that we that we protect the people that are in our lives. Now, that is not a weakness, that is a strength. But you realize for users, that is a weakness. Because they're like, now I know which buttons to press in order to get whatever I need to get from this person, or to even pull them down. So you realize you've brought them into your inner life, and now they are using the same weapons of mass destruction that you have given to them. You have weaponized them, and they are using them against you. Do you know that there are people that have even decided, which is not right, they have even decided and known that my spouse, I really can't trust them with a particular kind of discussion and a certain level of openness when it comes to, let me say, finances. And so they have to tell you a quarter or a half of what they earn. Because if they tell you the full amount of what they earn, you will claim to either bring the whole money, let's spend it. Maybe your needs, you'll be very selfish. You'll bring your needs to the top of the priority list. You will not care about whether the home advances. And so they're like, now I have been with my wife for the longest time, and I have known that this home is not her priority. Her priority is her hair and her eyelashes. And so I am going to take a step back a bit. Some people have been forced to make very weird decisions because of the people that are in their lives, and they're trying to create relationships that will not hurt them. But that is where I usually tell them, have an honest conversation and bring proper budgeting on table. Budget with this person, let them see where you want to put that money, and so when they see where you want to put that money, let's see whether they will ask for the eyelashes and ask for the, you know, for the 3 million pieces of hair and stuff like that. So you see, some of our strengths are used as weaknesses when we fall into the hands of the wrong people, or of the people that do not care about us. Okay, so here we have introduced actually a third word. We have said discernment, boundaries, and being vulnerable, that you cannot operate a relationship while you are holding your cards to yourself, and you are holding, because you're not going to relate with yourself. In as much as we relate with ourselves, but you're not going to be in an intimate relationship with yourself, or you're not going to be in a colleague relationship with yourself. It has to be with another person. So that is where this comes in. And I wanted us to actually look at this particular scripture. I think it brings it out so well. This is Matthew 7:15. The reason as to why I really love quoting some of these scriptures, it displays, or it explains so well, it backs up some of this information so well. And it says that, beware of false prophets. Now, for the prophets, I just want you to say people, false people, okay, who come in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Okay? Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? Even so, when good tree bears good fruit, Okay, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. So I want us to get used to it and know that there are people who are amongst us who are just a bad fruit that is bearing, a bad tree bearing a bad fruit. And there are people who are amongst us who are good trees and bearing good fruits. And I think you have seen such people who are indeed kind, not because they are up to something. You know, someone can be kind and it's like a bait to get you in. Someone practices kindness because they know kindness taps into your emotions. And so when you come in, then they twist and become your enemy, or they pull you down because of the same kindness that they used to actually bring you in. So when we say that you will know them, actually the only statement I wanted to get from that is you will know them by their fruits. When a tree bears oranges this year and next year, I should never hear you say that yes, this year it has given us oranges, but it was originally a grape tree. You know, some of us have given excuses for people, and that is where we have been hurt. You have seen that, number one, they're backstabbers, they are rumor mongers, they are good gossipers, they are very narcissistic or toxic, and all of a sudden you say, but they will change. No,